The Carolina Panthers lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Saturday to open Week 18, and now their playoff hopes rest entirely on Sunday's outcome between the Falcons and Saints. The Panthers fought hard after falling behind 10-0 early, managing to keep the game competitive until the final moments. They scored a touchdown with 2 minutes and 27 seconds remaining, but by the time they got the ball back, they were too deep on their side of the field without enough time to mount another drive. The Buccaneers currently sit in first place in the division, but both Saturday's teams will be glued to their televisions watching Falcons versus Saints on Sunday. If New Orleans wins, the Bucs clinch the division based on the common game's tiebreaker. However, if Atlanta wins, it creates a three-way tie for first place, and Carolina would win the division based on their superior head-to-head record against the other two teams. The Panthers entered Week 18 just 60 minutes away from their first playoff berth since 2017. Actually, it might be 120 minutes depending on Sunday's result. Carolina headed into the weekend with their highest win total since 2017, showing genuine signs of growth and progress under their current regime. The Panthers-Bucs matchup kicked off in Tampa at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, with Carolina listed as 3-point underdogs despite their playoff hopes hanging in the balance. The playoff clinching scenarios were complex but fascinating. If the Panthers defeated the Bucs on Saturday, they would immediately clinch the NFC South title and punch their ticket to the postseason. But even with Saturday's loss, Carolina can still claim the division crown if Atlanta defeats New Orleans on Sunday. Here's why. Victories by both Tampa Bay and Atlanta would create a three-way tie atop the NFC South at 8-9. When three teams tie in the division standings, the first tiebreaker is best record against the other teams involved. In this scenario, Carolina would be 3-1, the Bucs would be 2-2, and the Falcons would be 1-3. That gives the Panthers the division. However, if the Falcons lost to the Saints, it would create a two-way tie between Carolina and Tampa Bay at 8-9. They split their head-to-head series this season and finished with identical divisional records, so it moves to the next tiebreaker, record in common games. Unfortunately for Carolina, the Buccaneers lead in that category, meaning Tampa Bay would win the division in a two-team tiebreaker scenario. Atlanta enters Sunday as a 3.5-point favorite against New Orleans, giving Panthers fans reason for optimism. The Saints have struggled all season and are playing out the string after being eliminated from playoff contention weeks ago. The NFC standings heading into the weekend showed Seattle at 13-3 leading the conference. Chicago and Philadelphia both sat at 11-5, having already clinched their division titles. San Francisco was 12-4, while Los Angeles held 11-5. Green Bay rounded out the current playoff picture at 9-6-1. The NFC South standings showed just how tight the division race was. Carolina sat at 8-8, while both Tampa Bay and Atlanta were 7-9. New Orleans brought up the rear at 6-10. All four teams entered the final week with mathematical playoff possibilities, though Atlanta and New Orleans had been officially eliminated. Now, Panthers fans must become temporary Falcons supporters for one day. They need Atlanta to defeat New Orleans on Sunday to make Carolina's playoff dreams come true, despite Saturday's heartbreaking loss. It's an unusual position, rooting for a division rival, but playoff football makes strange bedfellows. This is USA Today News with your complete NFC South coverage. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell for all the latest playoff updates and Sunday's decisive game results.